Good evening. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to Cryptic Crunch Airlines. So today we are going to be discussing the myth and the legend, D.B. Cooper and Amelia Earhart. No, they did not run away with each other as my brain suggested many years ago that they did. The timelines do not mesh up. Although that would be quite the fanfic story. I wish my brain was a lot smarter than that, guys. I apologize, but good to see you guys in the chat. Keisha will be with us in a moment, so let's get this party started. All right, so yes, my brain somehow envisioned D.B. Cooper and Amelia Earhart running away with each other. I don't know where I got that idea from, but after watching the documentary on Netflix about D.B. Cooper, I realized I'm a moron. So yes, no, I just the whole myth, the whole legend of DB Cooper is very interesting. That would be something that I would absolutely love to try to hunt. Is the cache? Go down and look around where the couple bundles of cash was found. But I really want to know about what you guys think of this whole where did DB Cooper end up? Where did Amelia Earhart go? Like how did their planes crash? How did her plane crash? And is DB Cooper still alive? Because it's been well over 40 years. So yeah, I'm very curious as to see what you guys. Thank you, Carl. Not a moron. You just didn't know the timelines. Besides, Amelia ran off with Fred Noonan, her navigator, and so the whole idea of them being found, or her being found, and the plane, that's interesting too. But her navigator was not found. So I don't know. Keisha. Hello.
Hello. I am having serious issues with my, so I am so sorry.
That's okay. Let's blame it on the FBI for not wanting people to know the truth of what happened to DB Cooper.
Yeah. Let's that theory.
Keisha's in the dark again. Not so much the dark. You seem very light now. Like, did you get a new camera?
This is my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So my computer, the internet did not want to work on my computer. It almost didn't want to work on my phone. So we'll see how this goes.
It looks good. I like Donna's theory. DB Cooper married the stewardess from the plane and that he hijacked and joined the FBI. I would love to. That sounds like a great conspiracy. The one that I can actually get behind on. So hello, Carl. Hello, Donna. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. And Molly Daniels is in the chat. That's a new one.
Hi, Molly.
But yeah, so what, like, did you get a chance to watch anything about DB Cooper or Amelia Earhart?
Me personally, yes. Uh, so I watched there's a 45-minute segment. I believe it's the one you sent me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I watched that, and of course a couple other little things here and there. And then I did watch a couple on the disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Just basically theories of what they think happened. Because like she was so famous for flying that they even, what was it? They called her Babe in the Sky or something.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
it's
But
amazing
she
that, you know,
was
being the
so
first
skilled
female
that it's
being the
kind of
first
hard to believe.
female pilot, like that's the skills that, you know, I I wish I had today. But yeah, no, like she wanted to see if her plane could in fact make it. Okay, let's get my brain straight here.
She wanted to go really far.
Yeah.
But let me see. Oh, we've got
first
somebody.
female aviator fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She set many other records. Was the one of the first aviators to promote commercial air travel. Wrote best-selling books about her flying experiences. This woman was just multi-talented.
I think if anything did happen on that flight, it was due to basically somebody sabotaging her.
Yeah, during an attempt at becoming the first woman to complete a circumnavigational flight of the globe in 1937 in a Peru funded Lockheed Model 10E Electra. Earhart navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the central Pacific Ocean near Howland Island. Now there are people that believe that they, after their plane crash, they've lived happily ever after on the island. The two were last seen in late New Guinea on July 2nd, 1937, on the last land stop before Howland Island and one of the final legs of the flight. She presumably died in the Pacific during the circumnavigation just 3 weeks prior to her 40th birthday. Nearly 1 year and 6 months after she and Noonan disappeared, Earhart was officially declared dead. Investigations and significant public interest in their disappearance still continue. What do you think? Do you think that they lived happily ever after on the island? And I think we lost Keisha. Sorry. Live, Keisha, live. So yeah. Like if Amelia had GPS, she might have made it, but I think she got lost without proper backup and navigation aids. That is when like 1937. That's well before even GPS was thought of. But yeah, like, could you imagine that technology being on airplanes back in 1937? Like how that would have changed the whole face of air travel right there. So Emil, wow, Keisha, do you think that Amelia Earhart and her navigator lived happily ever after?
So no.
No.
I kind of see it. I didn't hear what you were saying because my internet went out. But my theory is that somebody sabotaged her because they didn't want a female to be like that big and aviation, because she was like the trailblazer of women and flying. So I think somebody sabotaged her and tried to and successfully killed her.
Hmm.
It would be nice to think she was somewhere living on an island, happy and free, but I just don't see it that way.
So, okay, so do you think someone sabotaged her plane to make it crash? Or like hmm. That, you know what, that is an interesting theory too.
Yeah. They
Someone
basically made her
sabotaging.
plane crash or didn't put enough fuel in the tank.
Oh. All right,
Yes.
so I'm looking
And
at
sorry, there is a huge delay on my end. So if I am speaking off, I am so sorry.
it looks like a weird Japanese dub. You're definitely, yeah, the voice and the sound is definitely not syncing right on my end. So uh Donna says that I think that if they had survived there would
Not
have
my
been
end
more
either.
evidence
It
of that.
plays it like a minute after I say it.
Somebody would have let it slip that they were living on the island. Yes and no. Maybe like it's possible that they, didn't know who they were. But was it Amelia who sabotaged, or was it her navigator and she was just unfortunate to be? Oh, there's an interesting theory. Do you think her navigator would have sabotaged her? That's maybe jealousy. Remember that fuel tanks were so small back then that she had enough
Oh,
fuel
maybe.
to
Well,
get to
see,
Helen's
that's what I
Island.
think is that somebody just didn't want her being prominent. Like
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to get rid of her.
Wow. In those days, they had were radio navigation and it was spotty. Yeah. No, someone was out to get him and she was just there. Oh,
Also a
interesting.
possibility.
I know that there was uh something about bodies being found, or at least her body was found in the
So
plane.
they ended up finding bones from what I was watching. They ended up finding bones, but they said that it was of a small statured male of European descent and that it couldn't have been her bones. And then, not suspicious at all, they burned said bones and said there was no way it was her. They got rid of the evidence.
How convenient. Oh, yes. And the myths, legend, and claims the unsolved circumstances of Earhart's disappearance, along with her fame, attracted a great body of other claims relating to her flight. Spies for FDR. This is one of them. The World War II era movie Flight of Freedom, 1943, is a story of a fictional female aviator, obviously inspired by Earhart, who engages in spying missions in the Pacific. The movie helped further the myth that Earhart was spying on the Japanese Japanese in the Pacific at the request of Franklin D. Roosevelt. By 1949, both the United Press and U.S. Army intelligence had concluded, if I can only read, had concluded that this rumor was groundless. Oh, we have a guess. Nope, that's creepy.
Yeah, sorry.
We cloned her, everyone. We figured out a way to clone humans.
You could have cloned somebody cooler.
Sorry, I was reading on Wikipedia and didn't notice that you crashed.
That is okay.
Oops. One theory is that they were captured by the Japanese after the crash, but again, no evidence of that. See, and this is the interesting thing about the story is nobody really knows what happened, so it's all up to us to create, the backstory or the continuation of the story, fanfics, if you will, and and hence the reason why my brain went, DB Cooper ran away with Amelia Earhart. Guys, I'm Canadian. I only know bits and pieces of these stories.
Guys, people are really good at making up stories too, so it could be anything at this point. Like they were abducted by aliens.
That is another theory that was going around. It's just the plane just disappeared, and they're up in space somewhere.
I'd be okay with that theory.
Carl is overjoyed now.
Oh wait, why is he overjoyed?
I'm guessing because when you
because
when you
So DB Cooper.
Okay, DB Cooper. Like the fact that only some of his money was found, and nothing came up after, like, and none of the actual money that he got from the ransom was recovered, was spent. Like, how do you get all that money and not spend it?
See, I think so. One thing that I find weird is they gave him all of that money in $20 bills. Most of the time, if you go somewhere and you're paying in a $20 bill, they're not going to check where that $20 bill came from. They're more concerned with your 50s and your 100s. So there's a good chance that it was out there and it was circulating and just nobody ever noticed, because who pays attention to a $20?
Isn't there at a certain point where bills get become uncirculated?
Like, yeah, but they basically just take them out of circulation and then they shred them. You can actually buy big bags of shredded $20 bills, because why would you want to, like, why not?
Now I almost want to go to the Canadian Mint and just search the garbage cans. There's got to be money in here somewhere.
So my theory on that is that I personally think he is alive, because there's so many things that don't line up that I have that small hope. Because like, DB isn't even, for those of you that don't know, it's not actually his name or anything. That's just, it's what a news article posted about him and called him DB, and they were like, that's good, I like it, DB Cooper. We're gonna go with it because it's better than what, Dan Cooper?
Yeah, Dan Cooper was the name that he gave during the flight, during one of his flights.
Yeah, and twisted that to be DB Cooper, and it's like, well, that goes to show you how well newspapers worked back then. I mean, that's the same way it works now, but like there's so many things that could have happened during this. He could have been in with the flight attendants. He could have been in with the actual what do they call them, drivers of the plane.
Well, there is one theory that he was one of the flight staff, like one of the flight attendants during or as his career. And, but
Oh yeah.
And then there was like also the theory that he was military, ex-military.
Well, I honestly think he knew how to use a parachute. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't like most standard Americans or anybody else for that matter would not know how to run a parachute by themselves. They had to have been trained in some way, shape, or form. And so, which leads me to think that, hey, maybe he was something like that. One of the theories, so a guy came forward and said, I think this is my brother.
Yeah.
And he thought that it was his brother because, he drank and smoked the same things, and he used to be he used to work for a flight, and something happened or he wasn't making enough money, and he was kind of doing this as protest, as to, hey, you're not giving me money, I'm gonna get my own money.
Yeah.
But that being said, if he only took a portion of the money, it was 200,000.
Yeah.
But he ended up disposing of some of it to make people think that he died and the money got lost forever.
Which was found. People were thinking that it just floated onto the beach, and
there was another theory that he got attached to, since that's a very busy area for boats, he got attached to a propeller, and the propeller is what dragged it all the way to the area that they found the money in. And then the propeller actually ripped open the bag and basically just killed him. They think he died just from cold water alone, but somebody else thinks that he could have died from getting hit by the propeller and dragged along and all that other stuff. So there are
all that was found, all that the FBI have anyway, is a parachute. Which, didn't he have like 2 or 3 parachutes on him?
4.
4.
When he made his ransom note, he asked for like 4 parachutes and then the money. And then he basically said, okay, now fly me. See, the thing that doesn't line up, if he wanted to get away that bad, why did he let all of the other passengers on the plane go? Like, if I feel like he didn't really have ill intent, like maybe the bomb wasn't real, or he was just like, no, okay, I need money,
like a decoy just
now.
to scare people. I honestly don't think it was an actual real bomb, and just he implied for it to be real enough to make people believe that there was a bomb, but yeah, it was a decoy.
And people are like, oh yeah, he's probably living it up in Mexico right now. Okay, if he only got $200,000 and he only walked away with partial of what that was, he would be poor and living off of dumpster food right now in today's world. Because even if he had the full $200,000, that gets you what? A car, a house, maybe.
In today's world, yes,
and that's about it.
but
That's
in 1971, that money was worth a lot more.
But unfortunately, unless he didn't have all of that money.
Yeah, so I think
he had enough money to get away.
I think during the jump, he definitely lost some. The bag probably opened up,
or at least so.
Sorry, Keisha.
Just a theory, but maybe he didn't even jump out of the plane.
Oh,
maybe the pressure change in.
So what you're thinking is
I think I'm losing internet again.
You are coming in and out, but I do feel like, I mean, the guy was in a suit. He had for November, okay, and I'm sure in November in where was it? Pennsylvania. November in Pennsylvania is probably cold. Oh, and we lost Keisha. So back in the 70s, my folks bought, here we go, bought a brand new house for less than $50,000. Yeah, and right now, houses in my area are going for $400,000. So yeah, $200,000 back then would have got you a nice house and a nice car. We're lucky if we can even afford that right now.
Yeah. But what I was saying before my internet decided to cut me off is, like, maybe he never even jumped. Because they said that the only reason they think he jumped is because the air pressure in the plane changed. And they think that's when he jumped, or where he jumped. But what if he just opened the door and shoved out a bag of money to throw people off the trail? And then waited, stowed away until, they landed safely and got off and went on his merry way.
So, okay, do you think possibly he may have paid the flight attendants and the pilots to keep quiet?
I think so. If he sat there and said, "Look, I'll give you $25,000 if you hide me out until we land safely," and then somehow sneak him off, because at that point, of course, the authorities were already on him because they knew what was going on, so they would have been waiting for him on the other side of where he was going.
Mm-hmm. Carl says that they searched the plane so afterwards. He would
have some sort of help.
I do believe he did jump out of the plane, or at least because of what he was wearing, and it was raining and cold and whatnot. Like, even on the ground, I'd probably slip off those stairs. I'm certain he had every intentions of jumping. I'm certain. I feel like he slipped. He fell out the plane. There's no way he was strong enough to hold himself steady and jump properly.
Well, the thing is, though, is even if that were the case, parachutes, even if he were tumbling out of the plane, parachutes are still meant to be able to open up even if that's happening. So I don't know.
The mafia would have laundered the money for him. That's a good point.
That is true. Maybe he had somebody on the inside of the mafia.
One theory is that he waited until they were over Nevada before he jumped. And yes, they did say that, you know, he wanted to go to Reno. Like they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough gas in the tank to
Fuel
get him to where, or sorry, fuel. My apologies. To get to where he wanted to go at first, but then they said we have enough to go to Nevada or Vegas, like Reno. Where was he supposed to hide on that? Exactly. Like, yeah, no, if Keisha's theory is correct, like he probably did pay the flight attendants and the pilot to keep them on the plane, and they probably landed safely somewhere. But no, just the fact is that yes, Carl's right. They did search the plane right after they landed. You know, he's probably dead now because of his age, but he probably did go to, if he did survive, if he was as talented of a skydiver as people make him out to be, he probably did make his way to Mexico or even Cuba. And hence the reason why we haven't seen or had a hair of the rest of the money that he had. And I mean, if the money is still in circulation, that's the, you think that something would have, you know, I don't know, that's really hard to say if the money is still in circulation or if the money is still hidden. Maybe they should dredge the waterway, see if they can find more. But I mean, like his body is probably, if he did die, his body probably got eaten up by whatever.
Yeah, there's a good chance him anymore if he died. Especially if he landed in the water like they think he did, because if he landed in the water, that would make his body decompose even faster than it would just on dry land.
Yeah.
Or would it preserve it more, or would it make it decompose faster? Because
I think the fish got to him first before.
True. Morbid to think.
But for them to only find like one of the parachutes that he has, and I mean, there's talks of, you know, they found like pieces of parachutes in like farmers' fields and stuff like that.
Why would he ask for that many parachutes? That's a weird
thing. For a fail safe? I don't know.
Like, would he take all of them on him at the same time? Like, I'm just imagining this guy strapping one to, like, his leg, his arm, his back, his front. Like, I don't know. That's just the envisionment in my head right now.
Oh, there's an interesting. My theory, he planted that money in the parachute years later. Huh. So the FBI have his DNA on file with all the cigarettes that he left on the plane. So, and nothing. I wonder Here's
think
what I
he's
wonder with that.
like 6.
Well, they okay, so somewhere in their backlog of stuff, they have the cigarettes of DB Cooper. They're claiming that they lost the evidence, but who's to say that they, they're not letting us know that they have it in their backlog.
The thing that I also don't understand is they said that he also drank out of glasses because he was drinking a bourbon and Sprite or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But they said that the glass got lost amongst the other passengers' glasses. I don't imagine the entire flight was drinking. They could have easily gone like, okay, here's the 10 glasses from the flight. Okay, these ones are all female DNA, push that over here. These ones are male DNA, push that over here. And then they could have easily gone through and been like, okay, it's not this guy. Cool. It's not this guy. Cool. But no. They just decided that it was too much effort.
It wasn't really until like the 90s that DNA became very popular.
They ended up.
Yeah, that's just it. Like them
I know,
like misplacing the cups, the glass that he used on the flight. Seems kind of weird.
I'm sorry, but if some guy
exactly
decided to tell you he had a bomb on the plane, I would have snatched up everything he had and been like, okay, so this is not like, why would you just toss it aside?
Yeah.
It's highly suspicious.
I like Donna. He lost it after he joined the FBI.
Genius.
Yeah, this is the interesting story of like this is what has the fact that they have celebrations for the guy. Like he is considered to be a hero, a modern day Robin Hood. Steal from the rich and give to like he wasn't intending to give the money away.
Yeah, he was probably intending to live happily drunk somewhere. But the thing is okay, so another theory. They think that he was a very sophisticated man. He drank the highest of liquors. He dressed nicely in suit and tie. Okay, so why did he need all that money if they thought he was already pretty wealthy? Because generally, the people who drank that kind of stuff and smoked that kind of stuff were already wealthy. So maybe he lost all of his money in a bet and decided, I'm going to get it back. Or, I don't know, but...
Well, maybe he owed some money to some people. Loan shark. Desperate times. I can see like the mafia. Someone brought up the idea of a mafia. It's possible that there was the mafia was after him, and he decided to. Last resort. Let's hijack a plane.
So, just to throw some more holes into everybody's theories.
Dan and I have the same brainwave.
What did he say?
He probably had a lot of gambling debts in Vegas and paid it all to the mafia, who then killed him anyway.
So they think that it was storming really bad when he jumped, right?
Yeah.
But they also claim to not know exactly where he jumped. And if he was flying that far, how would they know any of that information?
Well, they tracked the plane.
Yeah, but they don't know
path.
He jumped. So how do they know what the weather was like when he jumped? Because even if I'm driving into the village that I live 5 minutes away from my village, it's storming over there, and there is not a drop of rain over here, and I live 5 minutes away. I imagine up in the sky, 2 seconds later, you could be out of rain. So how do they know for sure that it was raining and storming while he jumped?
You can go back to the records of what the weather was like.
Yeah, but
they have that. Yeah, they do. They have records from over 100 years ago for weather.
I know that part, but like, if they're claiming they don't know exactly where he jumped, how do they know what records to look at?
I mean, broadcasting records go back as far as the broadcasting network has been around. They have these records on file. Like the weather, people have been tracking weather for hundreds of years.
Yes, but my point is, what area records are they looking at? Because if he didn't jump until Nevada, and maybe it wasn't raining in Nevada, or maybe he jumped somewhere in a different state that it wasn't raining in, that's what I'm getting at, is that, yeah, they may have had the records that it was raining in Nevada, but what if he didn't jump in Nevada? What if he jumped elsewhere and they just...
Okay. According to Wikipedia, the Southwest Washington, partway through the second flight. So yeah, wouldn't that be, well, okay, they were flying from Portland, Oregon to Seattle. So it's like, yeah, somewhere along that route he did jump. But the money was found off the banks of Columbia River. So, I mean, they did all the backtracking from where the money was found to where the plane was flying.
Okay.
The FBI are smart. A lot smarter than me.
Sometimes they're smart. I've heard some pretty
but yeah, and Donna's in agreement. Keisha has a valid point. They aren't sure exactly where he jumped. How can they check the records? Apparently it was raining. That's all I know.
But then again, like everything else, all of these are just theories.
Yeah. And yeah, he had them change course. The FBI are smart, but obviously not as smart as DB Cooper. I mean, he but I mean, the FBI has lost a lot of people.
You know what? I feel like if we weren't on the FBI watch list yet, we are now. Like, FBI, you're so stupid, you can't find a... Great. So this is where the guys in black outfits come charging through my door right now, and just like, you just see nothing.
So I've never been on a plane, so if I happen to be on a no flight list, I apologize. At least give me that. At least give me my first flight somewhere nice.
Oi. So I mean, FBI, we think you're smart, just not as smart as DB Cooper.
Do it, Carl. I would love to see your rendition of what happened to DB Cooper.
Yes, Carl, do it. You don't have a choice. This is your assignment from us right now. Okay?
Right after you finish your novel that you're working on now.
Oh, no. He has to stop that. This is he's allowed to work on right now. Also, for the dedication page, you can put out my full name if you want.
Keisha, the MIB won't ever come to your house. They're afraid of Dolores. You know what? I feel like Dolores would work for the MIB.
I feel like she would run it. So, for those of you that did not watch the show the other day, I was on Last Man Standing, and I was explaining that my daughter, the person that she is, went quiet while I was pulling weeds out of my garden. And when I went in to check and figure out what was going on and why she went quiet, I found her up in the rafters of my barn, up 2 flights of stairs, and there's a gap between the stairs and the rafters, so she had to jump over there to get to the rafters. And, like, I don't know, maybe she's a ninja. I could see this. Yeah, I could see her working.
Does she teleport?
I don't know, but I am just glad I did not watch it happen, because I would have had a heart attack. Yep. So I completely see Dolores being it.
Yeah, Dolores can climb into the rafters.
So, you know.
So we need to put a bell on her to make sure that we know where she is at all times.
You know what? Honestly, that is the best idea I've heard all day, and I'm completely okay with that.
Just start sewing bells onto her clothing.
Yes. I'm gonna go tell my husband that we're gonna do that now. I'm pretty sure when she starts school up, her teacher will question it, but she'll understand eventually.
Just go by the theory that she's she's a little pixie, you know. Hence the reason why she's she's ringing.
Yes. So we spent 50 minutes talking about D.B. Cooper and Amelia Earhart. Is there anybody else that we can, like, scrutinize and throw underneath?
Well, there's that Malaysia flight that went missing.
I think that one, like, went into the, what is it called?
Oh, you know what? The Bermuda Triangle. Okay, let's touch on that. That is a good theory. The Bermuda Triangle, like, things go missing in my house constantly, so I feel like the Bermuda Triangle has shifted into my house. But yes, the Indian Ocean was where the Malaysia flight. But yeah, no, the Bermuda Triangle, that is what.
I've got my knees up. I'm listening. Go for it.
So over the years, I've heard of, you know, things going missing in the Bermuda Triangle. People traveling there go missing. Nothing really comes out of it. So, and ships, like planes and ships, tend to, like, sink constantly there. So what do you think is causing that? Like, is there, like, I don't recall being like a really rocky area.
My scientific brain thinks that there's a change in energy, like, just, you know, the density of the air or the electricity in the air that causes things to just malfunction and be like, okay, I'm done working now. And then floop, in the water you go. Or you just disappear forever, because they've never been able to retrieve something from there, right?
Well, from what I'm seeing here, is I'm seeing lots of pictures, like the discovery of ships. And like, there's, you know, lots of hurricanes that happen around there. So yeah, I'm the theory of there being like like a weird magnetic pull in that area that, and then like instruments just kind of stop working. That
Okay,
could also be a huge cause.
I'm probably gonna hurt some people. Um, so if there's this place that if you go to it, you sink or your plane falls, and you know that that happens, why are you stupid enough to do it again? Like, what is the thought process behind there? Oh, they only like 50 ships and 500 planes just, disappeared there. You know what? I think I'm going to go there too. Like, what is the thought process behind that? Like, were you just not thinking when you got up this morning? Did you forget to eat your oats? What did, like, Darwinism. Like, the Darwin guy. Maybe some people decide to just they deserve to go into the Bermuda Triangle if they don't. Okay, it's like you got all the warnings. Don't go here, bad place, and yet you still went. I'm sorry, but that just seems like you probably shouldn't have done that. It's your own fault.
But I mean, like it would be an interesting place to like.
Willow, that is why you are not allowed on the plane. Okay.
Like I would love to investigate that area just to but at the same time, just have a string going. Maybe it's similar to what happens in Stranger Things. You go to an upside down world. Have a string that tethers you.
I haven't seen Stranger Things yet, so I have no idea. So
Okay.
don't. But yeah. Can you just not like that? That feels like the first person to die in a horror movie. Like, oh, I hear a noise. I'm gonna go check that out. Dead. Oh.
Do you think the Bermuda Triangle is like a portal to another dimension?
That would be cool. I would check that out. I'd be the stupid one. I know. I just got done saying that all these people are stupid. I'd be a stupid. But you guys knew that already. So yeah, I would definitely go. That being said, I would go. Even if it was just like an alien abduction. Like, there's a specific, beam that comes down right now. That's why they call it the Bermuda Triangle, because it's a beam that comes down from the sky. And then it just sucks you up or pushes you down, depending on whether or not it likes you or not. I have a feeling
Johnny's in the chat.
Aliens might want to probe this.
Johnny's in the chat. Hi, Johnny. Get back to work. But yeah, Flight 19, the Sulphur Queen, and Star Tiger. Those are, you know what? Perhaps we will revisit this in a later date, because yeah, there's so many different stories of the Bermuda Triangle swallowing up ships and planes, and this is definitely
whole set on.
There's probably a line of aliens who want to probe Keisha.
Yeah, probably.
Take that however which way you want, guys.
Okay, I took it the PG way, guys. Like, probing. So please only consider PG things when you think about me. Thank you. Speaking of audience members, like everybody, let's not probe Keisha, okay? Only aliens are allowed to do that. And with that being said, so since it's the top of the hour, let's do where we can ourselves.
That hour went way too fast.
It did, and I only crashed like 3 times, so.
And we only cloned you once.
Yeah.
All right, so if you love our shows, contribute at buymeacoffee.com/serialboxpod. If you hate our shows, contribute anyway, because we will upgrade and get Keisha a better camera.
Johnny.
All right. So if you guys want to see us take this show on the road to any of the cryptid cons, please, that would be awesome. I would love to get out of my house and go to a convention and meet the fine folks that talk about Bigfoot and aliens.
Willow,
and
you're gonna have to come to join us. No, just kidding. I'd probably join you before you should join us. It is.
Join us.
Be
one of us.
Yeah. There is a dumpster fire going on over here, so stay up there. But also come down here because there is a cryptid convention near our area, and we need to just go to it.
I'm down for that.
So we'll work
totally
on that. You can stay in my spare bedroom. It is not a portal to somewhere else.
One theory is that there are deposits of hydrogen sulfide on the floor of the Atlantic, Caribbean, and occasionally thaw out and change the density of water and air to cause that is interesting.
Scientific reason. I like that.
Good to know.
Yes.
So Bermuda Triangle, definitely a subject that we need to touch on for future subjects, for a future show. But Keisha, where can we find you online?
Well, you can find me pretty much anywhere. I apparently live online. So I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Basically, if you look up Acuff Creations or Keisha Acuff, I will pop up everywhere. Also, I have a book. So for those of you that I do not have a copy of it right here, it's somewhere hiding. Those of you that would like to check that out, you can go look up Him by Keisha Acuff. It is available on Amazon. I also do things like artwork, which I post on my social medias and
yes,
all of those things. So if you guys would like to check out some of my artwork, go check it out. Pretty much everywhere. So
buy her art, everyone.
But yeah, that's kind of where you can find me. And of course, on the back, if I could have negative money, I do have negative money. So buy my art and my books. Please. I need a vacation. Willow, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much everywhere on social media. I am the social media socialite. Whew. I am on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and I have a TikTok. So good. You just search up my name. You'll find me. And with that, I'm going to play Keisha's commercial for her lovely book. And thank you everyone for tuning in today, and hopefully we'll have something coming up on our next episode that takes a little bit more time to talk about, because apparently this one went a little too fast.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be it feel like a little bit of a longer show. All right. Have a good night, everyone.